Strap in for the most unusual and completely verified facts about Canada. These aren't your typical travel trivia. I guarantee even Canadian viewers will find themselves stunned by what's coming. Curious for more? All my other Canada videos are right up in the top right corner. I apologize in advance for any pronunciation mistakes or challenging words. Canadian names and terms can be tricky. I have deep respect for Canada and its people, and I truly hope this doesn't detract from your viewing experience. I warmly welcome any corrections, additions, or feedback in the comments below. Let's start with a few everyday Canadian innovations that changed the world. Canada might be famous for its stunning landscapes and friendly people, but it's also the birthplace of several world-changing inventions. Take insulin, for example, a medical breakthrough discovered in 1921 by Frederick Banting and his colleagues in Toronto, which turned diabetes from a death sentence into a manageable condition, saving millions of lives across the planet. Another everyday marvel is the telephone, invented by Alexander Graham Bell while he was living in Brantford, Ontario. Today, we can't imagine modern life without this essential tool for connection. The global system of standard time zones, something we take for granted when traveling or even just catching a flight, was devised by Canadian engineer Sandford Fleming in the late 19th century, bringing order to an increasingly interconnected world. Then there's the walkie-talkie, created by Donald Hings in 1937. What began as a military tool is now a staple for communication everywhere, from construction sites to festivals. Lastly, the external cardiac pacemaker, invented by John Hopps in the 1950s, laid the groundwork for the tiny life-saving devices keeping millions of hearts beating today. Canada's quiet genius continues to make the world a better place, one invention at a time. Fact 1. Canada, the country that never lost a war. Throughout modern history, Canada holds the remarkable distinction of never having suffered a clear defeat in any war fought under its own flag. From the famous War of 1812, where Canadians, aided by British troops and Indigenous allies, famously repelled American invasions, to global campaigns in both world wars and peacekeeping missions since, Canada's military record remains undefeated. While many nations have complex histories of wins and losses, Canada's reputation is uniquely steady and quietly proud. Unlike countries that boast about military power, Canadians typically treat this fact with humility, almost as if victory is an afterthought. Yet, it is a point of historical pride, one that speaks to the resilience, determination, and sometimes sheer luck of a nation that has managed to avoid catastrophic losses while still playing important roles on the world stage. In truth, it's one of those understated facts that surprise outsiders and spark conversations about what makes Canada, well, Canada. Fact 2. Canada's freshwater fortune, 1/5 of the world's supply. When it comes to natural resources, Canada isn't just rich, it's practically overflowing. This vast nation is home to about 20% of the world's fresh water, a mind-boggling amount hidden in millions of lakes, sprawling rivers, and underground aquifers. Imagine the planet's entire supply of fresh water divided into 5 buckets. One bucket belongs entirely to Canada. With over 31,000 large lakes and countless smaller bodies of water, it's no wonder that Canadians are renowned for their love of canoeing, fishing, and ice skating. The Great Lakes alone account for an immense share of this abundance, straddling the border between Canada and the United States. This natural wealth shapes Canadian identity, daily life, and even politics, as water conservation becomes increasingly crucial in a thirsty world. It's also a fact that surprises many travelers. While some nations struggle with drought, in Canada, you're never too far from a clear, cold, and drinkable lake or river. Fact 3. The real Winnie-the-Pooh, a Canadian tale from Winnipeg. Few people realize that the beloved bear, Winnie-the-Pooh, actually owes his name to Canada. The story begins with a Canadian soldier and veterinarian, Harry Colborne, who bought an orphaned black bear cub in Ontario during World War I. He named the bear Winnie in honor of his hometown, Winnipeg. Winnie soon became a mascot for Colborne's regiment before eventually finding a new home at the London Zoo. There, the little bear captured the heart of a young Christopher Robin Milne, whose father, A. Milne, would go on to write the iconic stories. This charming Canadian connection means that every time someone opens a Pooh book or hums the song Winnie-the-Pooh, they're giving a small salute to Winnipeg and its gentle, animal-loving spirit. It's one of those quirky facts that links Canadian kindness to global childhood nostalgia, all thanks to a soldier's affection for a bear with a big appetite and a bigger heart. Fact 4. Moncton, the snowiest city in all of Canada. If you think your winters are rough, try living in Moncton, New Brunswick, the undisputed snow capital of Canada. Each year, Moncton gets absolutely buried, receiving an average of about 9.5 feet of snow. That's enough white stuff to turn your morning commute into an Olympic event and give every child snow fort world record status. The city's unique geographical location, nestled between the Bay of Fundy and the Northumberland Strait, creates the perfect conditions for heavy snowfalls that can last from November right through to late March. For locals, winter isn't just a season, it's a way of life, with snow shovels as common as coffee mugs and snowplows working overtime. But with all that snow comes a certain charm. Moncton transforms into a frosty playground, attracting winter sports lovers, photographers, and those seeking the magic of a true Canadian winter. Just don't forget your parka, Andres. The snow here isn't just a dusting, it's a full-on blizzard embrace. Fact 5. Sudbury, from asteroid impact to nickel empire. Sudbury, Ontario is a city with a story that's truly out of this world, literally. Around 1.8 billion years ago, a colossal asteroid slammed into what is now northern Ontario, creating the Sudbury Basin, one of the largest impact craters on Earth. This violent cosmic event left behind a treasure trove of valuable minerals, making Sudbury the world's top nickel producer for decades. The area's distinctive horseshoe shape and rocky terrain are silent witnesses to this ancient disaster-turned-industrial miracle. Mining towns don't get much more authentic than Sudbury, where towering smokestacks and the iconic Big Nickel Monument remind visitors of the city's metallic legacy. Today, Sudbury's mines are famous worldwide, drawing geologists and adventurers eager to explore the basin's origins. But Sudbury isn't just about rocks and riches. It's a city that wears its space-age history with pride, blending science, industry, and a uniquely Canadian resilience forged in the aftermath of a planetary collision. Fact 6. Canada's big birthday, the 150th anniversary. In 2017, Canadians celebrated a milestone that only comes around once in a nation's lifetime, the 150th anniversary of Confederation, marking the birth of modern Canada with the Constitution Act of 1867. Dubbed Canada 150, the year was filled with nationwide festivities. Fireworks exploded over Parliament Hill, cities hosted parades, museums curated special exhibitions, and even the smallest towns joined in with local fairs and concerts. Canadians everywhere reflected on their country's journey from a fledgling British colony to a diverse, independent nation with global influence. The celebration became more than just history. It was a moment of unity, pride, and self-reflection for a country often known for its humility. From coast to coast, Canadians used the occasion to honor Indigenous heritage, embrace multiculturalism, and debate what it truly means to be Canadian. For many, 2017 was not only a look back at 150 years, but also a hopeful glimpse into Canada's next chapter. Fact 7. The Métis, Canada's bridge between worlds. The word Métis, pronounced Métis, holds deep significance in Canadian culture and history. It describes a group of people with both Indigenous and European ancestry, primarily French or Scottish fur traders and First Nations women, who formed their own unique identity, language, and traditions, and officially recognized as one of Canada's 3 Indigenous peoples, The Métis nation emerged in the Red River region, blending European customs with indigenous ways of life to create something entirely new. Their colorful sashes, lively fiddle music, and spirited festivals all reflect this dynamic heritage. The Métis played a pivotal role in the fur trade, Western exploration, and even the founding of Manitoba. Their leader, Louis Riel, is now considered a father of Canadian Confederation, once a rebel, now a national hero. The story of the Métis is a powerful reminder of Canada's multicultural roots and the enduring strength of communities who flourish in the spaces between worlds, always bridging the gap, always forging something original. Fact 8. Manitoulin Island, the world's largest lake island. Manitoulin Island isn't just big, it's a world record holder. Nestled in Lake Huron, Manitoulin claims the title of the largest lake island on Earth, spanning over 1,000 square miles. What makes this even more fascinating is that Manitoulin is itself home to more than 100 sparkling lakes, some of which have islands of their own. So you can literally visit an island on a lake on an island in a lake. This geographic marvel has been a sacred place for Indigenous peoples for thousands of years, and today it draws adventurers, artists, and spiritual seekers alike. The island's mix of pristine forests, dramatic cliffs, and crystal-clear waters offer a peaceful escape from the bustle of modern life. In summer, its small towns come alive with powwows, art festivals, and boaters hopping between remote shorelines. If you ever want to experience true Canadian nature, and maybe lose yourself in a maze of lakes within islands, Manitoulin is as magical and unique as they come. Fact 9. The Great Canadian Milk Bag Mystery. Ask any newcomer to Canada about their first supermarket trip, and you're bound to hear confusion about milk bags. Unlike most countries, in many parts of eastern Canada, milk is sold in soft, clear plastic bags rather than rigid cartons or jugs. But here's the twist. Canadians don't actually pour milk straight from the bag. Instead, these bags are placed inside a special reusable plastic pitcher, and the corner is snipped off for easy pouring. It's a tradition that's baffled tourists for decades and become a quirky point of national pride, one of those only-in-Canada moments. While the system is efficient, cost-effective, and more environmentally friendly, it can leave outsiders scratching their heads. And just to clear up a persistent myth, Canadians don't put milk cartons in bags, only the milk itself. If you ever visit a Canadian friend and spot a floppy bag of milk in the fridge, consider yourself initiated into one of the country's most enduring household oddities. Fact 10. The Arctic Archipelago, more islands than people. Canada's Arctic Archipelago is one of the most remote and surreal landscapes on the planet, a frozen labyrinth of over 36,000 islands scattered across the country's far northern reaches. While this staggering number of islands is impressive on its own, what truly sets the archipelago apart is its near-total solitude. Fewer than 20,000 people live in this icy wonderland, making it a land where caribou, polar bears, and migrating birds vastly outnumber humans. For much of the year, the region is locked in ice, accessible only by daring explorers, hardy Inuit communities, and the occasional adventure seeker looking to witness the northern lights or the midnight sun. The islands themselves range from tiny, rocky outcrops to massive landmasses like Baffin Island, which is larger than many countries. This corner of Canada stands as a stark reminder of the wild, untamed beauty that still exists in our world, where silence stretches for miles and the only footprints in the snow may be yours. Fact 11. Walking on the Mantle, the Tablelands of Gros Morne. There is only one place on Earth where you can literally walk on rocks that once came from deep within our planet's mantle, the Tablelands in Gros Morne National Park, Newfoundland. Unlike the green forested landscapes you expect from Canada, the Tablelands are barren, golden brown, and almost otherworldly, with exposed peridotite rock thrust up from beneath the Earth's crust hundreds of millions of years ago. It's a surreal experience. Geologists and curious travelers alike come here to touch a piece of Earth's interior, usually found miles below the surface. The landscape feels almost Martian, dotted with rare plants that manage to survive in soil thin on nutrients. Parks Canada offers guided hikes that let visitors walk, climb, and marvel at this geological window into our planet's violent past. If you've ever dreamed of time travel or standing on another planet, the Tablelands are the closest thing you'll find, right in the heart of Newfoundland's wild west coast. Fact 12. Hockey and lacrosse, Canada's dual national sports. Most countries have a single national pastime, but Canada goes above and beyond with two officially recognized national sports, hockey in winter and lacrosse in summer. This unique pairing reflects the diverse roots and spirit of the country. Hockey is a cultural obsession. Children play it on frozen ponds and adults pack stadiums for the NHL, dreaming of the Stanley Cup. Lacrosse, on the other hand, is deeply woven into Indigenous history. It was played for centuries before European contact, sometimes with hundreds of players in fields spanning miles. In 1994, the National Sports of Canada Act made both official, honoring hockey's icy excitement, and lacrosse's heritage as the oldest organized sport in North America. For Canadians, these sports are more than games. They're living traditions, bridging communities from coast to coast. Whether you're watching a fierce hockey match or a fast-paced lacrosse game, you're witnessing the heartbeat of a nation that thrives on skill, teamwork, and a little bit of healthy rivalry. Fact 13. Canada. A name born from Kanata. The very name Canada has roots far deeper than many realize. It comes from the Huron-Iroquois word Kanata, which means village or settlement. When the French explorer Jacques Cartier arrived in the 16th century, he misunderstood local guides who pointed him toward Kanata, referring to the village of Stadacona, now Quebec City. Cartier used Canada to describe the land around that settlement, and soon European maps expanded the name to cover the entire region. Over time, the word took on a grander meaning, eventually becoming the name of the country itself. This humble linguistic origin is a testament to Canada's Indigenous heritage and a gentle reminder that even the mightiest nations can spring from a single small word. Today, every time Canada is spoken, it's an echo of the first people who called this land home, a subtle but profound tribute to the cultures that shaped a nation. Fact 14. Tulip diplomacy, the Netherlands' gift to Canada. Every spring, Canada bursts into vibrant color thanks to a unique gesture from across the Atlantic, tulips sent by the Netherlands. Since the end of World War II, the Dutch have gifted Canada with tens of thousands of tulip bulbs every year as a heartfelt thank you for sheltering the Dutch royal family during the war and for Canada's pivotal role in liberating the Netherlands from occupation. The tradition began with 100,000 bulbs, and today, about 20,000 arrive annually, sent by both Dutch growers and the royal family. Ottawa's Canadian Tulip Festival, the largest of its kind in the world, transforms the city's parks and avenues into a living rainbow each May. This colorful tradition is more than floral beauty. It is a lasting symbol of international friendship and gratitude, showing that a simple flower can blossom into decades of peace, partnership, and shared joy between two nations. Fact 15. The world's largest beaver dam, nature's engineering marvel. Deep in the wilds of Wood Buffalo National Park lies one of Canada's quirkiest and most jaw-dropping records, the world's largest beaver dam. Stretching almost half a mile, or about 2,790 feet, this massive structure can even be spotted from space. Built by generations of industrious beavers, the dam has transformed its patch of wilderness into a watery labyrinth, creating new habitats for countless species of fish, birds, and other creatures. What's truly astonishing is that this engineering feat was constructed without human help, just determination, teamwork, and a lot of gnawed logs. The dam is a perfect symbol of Canadian nature, quiet, persistent, and surprisingly powerful. Adventurous visitors who trek to this remote spot are rewarded with a glimpse of raw, natural ingenuity, where wildlife still rules and the legacy of Canada's national animal can be seen quite literally from the sky. Fact 16. Yonge Street, Canada's legendary longest street. For decades, Yonge Street in Toronto held the celebrated title of the world's longest street, a distinction immortalized in countless guidebooks and local legends. Stretching about 34 miles from Toronto's bustling downtown up to the shores of Lake Simcoe, Yonge Street has been the beating heart of the city since the late 18th century. Originally built as a military road, it quickly grew into a commercial and cultural artery, lined with shops, theaters, restaurants, and landmarks that define Toronto's urban identity. Although some modern records have clarified that much of the route beyond Toronto is actually part of provincial highway, the myth of Yonge as Main Street Canada lives on in the imagination. Locals and tourists alike stroll its sidewalks, ride the subway beneath it, and gather for parades and celebrations. More than just a road, Yonge Street is a symbol, a place where history, commerce, and Canadian life converge, stretching onward like the country's story itself, long, winding, and full of surprises. Fact 17. Kraft dinner, Canada's unofficial national dish. When it comes to comfort food, Canadians have a clear favorite, Kraft mac and cheese, or, as it's affectionately called in Canada, Kraft dinner. No nation on earth eats more of this creamy, cheesy classic per capita than Canada. Not even the United States, where it was invented. The average Canadian consumes well over 3 boxes each year, and Kraft dinner is such a pantry staple that it has become a quirky part of the national identity. Students, families, and even celebrities have a soft spot for this quick meal, often jazzing it up with ketchup or hot dogs for a truly Canadian twist. It's inexpensive, filling, and instantly nostalgic for anyone who's grown up north of the border. Some Canadians even claim Kraft dinner deserves a place on the country's coat of arms, and its popularity shows no sign of fading. In a land known for its multicultural cuisine, nothing unites people quite like a steaming bowl of KD on a cold winter night. Thank you for joining me on this fascinating journey through Canada's most unique and surprising facts. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your fellow travel enthusiasts. I'd love to hear which fact surprised you the most, or if you know any other quirky Canadian secrets, please share them in the comments below. As always, I welcome your corrections and additions, since there's always more to discover together. Thanks for watching Andy Explores the World, and see you in the next adventure.